Hi, everyone. This is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman. And I know I'm on like 2 minutes early, but I just couldn't help myself. I'm so excited. I kind of missed y'all for the last couple of weeks. I missed 2 weeks in a row because I was sick and not feeling well. And I was just like, I could not deal with like it anymore. I had like a sore throat and all kinds of icky things, but I am so much better. I am like, got so much healing returning to me. I am so excited to be with you because we're going to be talking about we are going to be talking about our our November 22nd energy portal, which is our 1122 portal. And it's maybe not as important or as strong as our 1111 energy portal, but I guarantee you it has some amazing energy nonetheless. Like it is a really cool one. So one of the things is kind of like our 1111 energy comes in with like manifesting and our spiritual alignment and kind of like walking into our power, all of those amazing energies. And then the number of 22 kind of brings in our master architect or our master builder number of 22. It's all about like being productive and setting goals and driving ourselves to kind of like allow that dream to come forward. I will also be answering some angel card questions. So if you have some angel card questions, let me know. I'll pull an angel card for you. But you can just ask me any questions about the 11 to 22 energy portal. Hi, Miss Jenny. How are you doing? So if y'all have any questions, definitely do that at any point. Like just throw them out there. But today I'm live on 2 different platforms. Hi, Aska. Let me see. I am literally live on TikTok and on YouTube at the same time. So it's one of those. Sometimes one is really busy and the other one's not. So we'll just see how it goes tonight. But I'm really excited to be with y'all. And like I said, we're going to be talking about our 1122 energy portal. Nice to see you again too. I missed you guys. I know I was gone for like 2 weeks. I literally had food poisoning 1 week, and then the next week I was just like literally just sick as a dog from sinus stuff, just all the crazy sinus stuff that everybody else has been having. I know people have been crazy about that, but if you have any questions, you can I'll answer your questions. Hi, Miss Kathy. How are you doing? And I am feeling so much better, so much health returning. It is amazing. But let's talk about our 1122 energy portal. Now, kind of the cool part is we talked about like last time we were talking, the 11 energy is all about like that doorway. What are you willing to kind of walk into? As it says, I just realized. That's a great thing. It's one of those. I have been noticing the 11 number many, many times, and not just like the November part of the 11 number, but like just 11's different places, and kind of like what do I want to do? How do I want to? But like on clocks, but not just the 11 time frame. I've seen them on appointments. I've seen them literally. I've seen it in the weirdest things. And I often tell people like it's great to see like master numbers and builder numbers and all of that kind of energy is amazing to connect to. It truly is. But a lot of times people will be like, "Oh my gosh, I saw it one time." No, 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 no. Like you need to see it like 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 times in a row. That's when you know you're really getting the message, not just like one time and like, oh, I saw a master number. Really? No, it's when you see it over and over and over again. So let's see. I woke up last night. I went to bed at like 10 o'clock. So like I was getting some rest. I woke up at 11:11 exactly. So that was one. This morning, I had a client that my phone rang at 11:11. So I literally picked up the phone and I looked at that and I was like, okay, there's 11:11 again. And then when that client's phone number came through and she was giving me all of her information to schedule an appointment, literally she had 11 in her number. That's what I mean is like in different realms, not just like, oh, I saw it one time, many different realms. Um, I will say you're right, Alika. I will say that I have been seeing 11s in different forms and formats. Now that is literally just three times in like less than 24 hours that I saw the same numbers, and I saw it again this afternoon with a text from someone because someone was trying to book something with me, and one of the numbers that she gave me have an 11 in it as well. So that's kind of a great thing because the like this, the master numbers really align spiritually with what's coming in. So make sure that you are connecting with that amazing energy. Now, it really kind of is the universe's way of saying like what what do you personally want to bring in? What do you want to drag out of like your dream world into reality? Like what do you want to bring into your reality? What are your inspirations? I will say a lot of people on 1111 had a lot of downloads. You may also have that. Basically, we're talking about tomorrow. So we're dealing with tomorrow's energy. Um, but I will say the 1122 energy portal also brings in a lot of spiritual and a lot of material worlds kind of like combining together. So that's where it kind of brings our dream world into what's coming in for us. And that's kind of the opportunity. Like, what is the dream that you really have been wanting to do? Now, a lot of people think that when you see the numbers, like it's just going to like manifest full hearted, like right there in your plate. It's not. It means that you're going to have to do something. Hi, Carissa. Carissa, how are you doing? It's one of those like you need to do something, you need to be in action because if you're asking creators energy to be in action, you have to balance that. You have to balance creators energy with your energy. So it's not like, oh, let me sit back and I'm not going to have to do anything. No, 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 no. You're going to have to balance creators energy. You may not have to do everything that he's doing, but you're going to have to be in action of some way, shape, or form in this area. And that's a great way to be because, like I said, nothing ever just shows up for nothing. Literally, I am starting, I think, my 13th year in business. And I will tell you, I have learned so much so quickly. And I love that part of it. But it's one of those like, I started my business literally, I think it's 13 years, November 11th, 2011. Like it was a literally 11 day. And it was like not necessarily the day I went and got my DBA opened or whatever else. It was the day that I was like, I'm actually going to do this. I am in action. I literally wrote down the company name that I was going to choose. I started opening up my business. I started doing what I could on that day. Like I am going to be in action of doing all of this. I'm tired of like hemming and hawing and like, I don't want to do it. I do want to do it. I don't want to do it. I was like, I'm in. I am completely in. I am doing this. So literally it is like, okay, let's do this. I have so much fun in my business and I have learned so much. That's the part that I actually love the most kind of thing. I love the learning part. But our 1122 energy also brings in this portal bridges of like, what are you dreaming about or what do you want to bring in or what have you been thinking about and bringing that into reality. And it doesn't mean you need to go down like tomorrow and open up your DBA. Maybe it is. But I will say a lot of times, like just making that decision, I am going to do this. I am going to open my business. I'm going to start my business. I'm going to do this. I'm going to look into this franchise or I'm going to do this in some way, shape, or form. Get in business, get in the mindset of I'm going to do something in what I want to do. Maybe it's changing jobs, maybe it's changing careers, whatever it is. Going to school, getting out of school, whatever it is, like what are the new choices that you're making now? What are those like, yes, this is what I'm going to be doing. And everybody has a different dream. If we all had the same dream, someone's like a copy. Does that make sense? Like no one needs to have the same dream. And a lot of times people go, oh, well, you're a psychic medium. I would love to do that. But yeah, maybe that is, but you're going to do your business your way. You're going to do what you want differently. And I will tell you, I have so many students that have worked with me and they go on and they're like, I thought I wanted to be a psychic medium and do that, like readings for people and group readings and all that kind of stuff. And they're like, but I love numerology or I love astrology or I love angel card readings or whatever it is. Like they kind of get their own niche in that area. And that's kind of the fun, cool part is like, what is the thing that just kind of like lights you up? And I can see it as a teacher, like when someone comes in and like, oh my gosh, I got to do this. And it's like, yeah, that's the cool part. When you love what you do, that is like the total cool part of like, yes, I get to do this. I get to create this in my world. I get to do it my own way. And just because someone else is in business similar to yours doesn't mean they're going to run it the same way you do. And that's kind of the interesting part. And being in action about it, like, what is it that you're going to do? How are you going to start it? How are you going to do it? A lot of times I think like kind of like sitting down sometime tomorrow and what is it that you want to do? Like, let's write that down. And then kind of thinking like, how are some of the things that I'm thinking that I'm going to need to research or look into or think about or write up or whatever else? Do I need a website or do I not need a website? Do I need social media? Do I not? Like, start thinking about things. And that's what can bring in this energy of like, start to think about things. You could even start your social media stuff. You could start your new business email. You could do something else, like start getting that thinking going, like what is it that I choose to want to do. Now this doesn't mean to necessarily be business. It doesn't have to be business at all. It could be, I'm going to start a new career. I'm going to leave this career that I've not wanted for a long time, and tomorrow I'm going to start looking at what classes or what do I need to do or what do I need to fix, change, or modify to get into a different career. This is something that's really important. And sometimes you realize like, oh, I don't have to go back to school, but maybe this class would be helpful, or maybe reading a couple of books. I was talking to a client the other day and she's starting her own business, and she goes, like, what area do you think that you really kind of like don't have really strong? And she goes, I think I need to practice on being like a better leader. And I said, so go be a leader somewhere. That could be helping with the food drive, being a leader in a food drive. And she was like, I would have never thought of that. Reading books on how to be a great leader and read different ones in different aspects until you find the one that goes, this is the kind of leader I want to be. This is the kind of thing that I really want to do. So that's the cool part. And yes, that is the amazing part of it, is like, what do you want to do and how do you want to do it? And I told her, I was like, I already think you're going to be a great leader. So I already know that's part of who you are. But I get that sometimes we really want to get some insight of like how to do something else. And I said, the more leadership you get underneath your belt now, but making that decision tomorrow, like, yes, I'm going to do this. Now, there's a couple of things that you could do to amplify this energy. Now, one of the things I will say is just even daydreaming. Literally start at like 10 minutes or 11 minutes to 11 o'clock tomorrow and daydream all the way through that time frame, through 11, through 11:11, through 11:22. So you're kind of really, and just like let your thoughts, like, if I do this, then this could happen, and this could happen, and this could happen, and this could happen, and that could happen. And just like let your thoughts go wild. When you get up from your meditation, like literally jot all of those down and then start working on like, what is the one thing that I need to do first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 20th, whatever it is, and start working on that energy so you can move forward. And sometimes it, like I said, it could be a career change. It could be, I've been doing this and I want to do something completely different. Sometimes it could be bringing in that perfect relationship for you, like being an architect of like your love life. How do you want this to come in, and how do you want that to change for you? What have you done wrong in the past, and what do you want to do right this time? That can be like, interesting. Yes, it is very interesting. How do you want this to come in and make changes in and around your life? And how do you want to kind of like amp this up for yourself? How do you want this to amp for you? What do you want it to come in and change or modify or fix? What is it? And then what are you creating? Are you just creating a relationship between you and one other person? Is it a family? Is it something else? I don't know, like what floats your boat? It's one of those like thinking about those now, and then start being like getting into action and start writing more and more into getting more and more concrete things that you need to do. I need to look up this, or I want to look at this. I'm going to go to a therapist because I've had some really bad relationships in the past. So I want to clear this out. So that's step number one. I'm going to go start seeing a therapist, getting these things cleared out and kind of moving into like creating a plan for myself of moving into a new relationship, breaking down your big vision into smaller, manageable pieces, and then give it a deadline. If you don't have a deadline, it's just a wish, and it's one of those. But like, and you can give it a deadline of like 6 months. In the next 6 months, I'm going to do 6 sessions with a therapist. That's pretty doable. So that kind of gives you an insight of what are you doing and how are you doing it. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm moving forward in all of this. I always tell people, like, if you want to find someone um, in a new relationship, unless you want to find the pizza guy, go out. That doesn't mean you need to go out every day, but go out and do things. Go have dinner with your friends or your girlfriends. Go out and do something. Get out into the public eye. Go do something. Because I guarantee you nowadays, so many people just like stay at home. They never go anywhere. They never do anything. And it's like who are you trying to meet? The Chinese delivery guy or the pizza guy? Like who are you trying to connect with? If you want someone other than them, you've got to get out and kind of connect to that energy. So it's like, let's do that. So what are you trying to manifest? Tell me, like, what are some of the things that you're trying to manifest? What? Okay, hold on. Let's see. RAM is, hold on, just went up. Okay. What are the microeconomic implications of central bank digital currency on the global trade? I have a feeling that Bitcoin's going to fall apart in the next 5 to 6 years. So if that's what you're asking about Bitcoin, I never had good feelings about Bitcoin. Jenny, what new career journey is attached to my life ahead of ahead of me? Sorry, my throat is still a little crazy. Okay, so for you, Jenny, I'm going to pull this card, and this is all about the third house. Something about your journey has to do with communication, and you're probably pretty good at communication, but it being in communication means that you're going to do something like I do, like you're going to talk to people, you're going to communicate with people. Now, how is that going to happen? Like, how are you going to communicate? I don't know. That's your choice. Like, what are you going to do? How are you how are you going to connect to that energy? How are you going to bring that together? How are you going to make those connections with other people? Like, what do you want to communicate about? Maybe you want to write a book, or maybe you want to write some articles that are going to go um, um, uh, into different magazines. Maybe there's something else that you want to write. Maybe there's something else that you want to create. Yes, y'all can ask a question anytime. I'll do that again. Okay. I have angel cards. So if you want to ask me an angel card question, you can ask me for literally just a generic angel card reading for you. If you give me a little bit of insight about, like, what is it about, that kind of gives me a little bit of insight, kind of like where things are. So Shara is asking, did Quanell fall in love with me? I get not necessarily yes. I kind of feel like he fell into infatuation with you, but it's one of those, like, he's on the edge, but it's kind of could go back and forth. And I do feel like his energy literally goes back and forth at times, like yes, and other times like no, yes, no. And I don't think Quanell is really sure about what he wants in his life. And that may be where if he doesn't know what he wants in his life, it's hard for him to realize that there could be someone else in his life with him. So that could be something that could kind of bring in some amazing energy as well of connecting y'all. And this could be something that y'all talk about, like tomorrow is a really great day of manifesting or whatever it is. So just know that y'all have got to connect on some different levels for you. Okay. One of the things that 22 is all about too is about the building foundations, like building foundations and structures for you. Like, what are the building foundations or structures that you want to bring into you? Like, what is it? Because in anything that you do, you have to bring in those structures. Kind of like a portal is great, and it kind of literally brings a lot of energy to you. but you have to start the foundation of it. And this could be long-term goals, short-term goals. It could be setting money aside. Like if I want to do this in my business, or if I want to do this or create this or do this, I need to start putting money aside. So it's literally thinking about, what do you want to bring in? What is it that you want to bring in next for you, so that you have that money is set aside, instead of going like, oh my gosh, I wish I could do this. You don't have it. It's bringing that money in. Oh, you're already having that money set aside. But foundations are really important, because almost anything that's ever built has to have a great foundation. Literally, apartment buildings, office buildings, homes, all have to have a very strong structure underneath it to hold the weight of it. So you need to start building your foundation now. And that could mean, like I said, going to therapy, changing your ideas, going to classes, upgrading yourself, doing books, doing workshops, whatever it is, kind of clearing that out. Um, okay. Alika wants to know, what about her job opportunities? My intuition says stay patient. I trust myself, but somewhere I'm looking for confirmation. I'm going to agree with your intuition on this. Um, Staying very patient. Now, that doesn't mean just sitting and kind of doing nothing. That could mean like anytime you get into something that like, oh, that might be interested, or this might be a job opportunity for me. Really consider it, think about it, and then ask your angels and guides. Like literally, maybe you want to buy a franchise, or you hear someone saying like, yeah, I did this franchise, and you're like, interesting, maybe that's what I want to do. And you start looking into it, investigating it, and doing a little bit of research. And then you go, no, this isn't for me. Now I've pushed that aside. Now I'm open to new opportunities coming to me. But when you kind of like, I'm going to do this all at once, no, 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 no. Literally, as they come in, different ideas. Is this something I want to do? I often tell people, one of the interesting things is like when you start your own business, it's like having a baby. When you have a baby, there is like, that baby is everything that you need to be taking care of: feeding, taking care of, bathing, all of that kind of stuff. You cannot leave them alone for a second. You're constantly dealing with that baby. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that you need to be in constant communication and constantly changing things. Once you kind of get a little bit older, then it can kind of move on its own. But at the beginning, a business is like having a baby. And once you get it on its feet and toddler stage and you're able to do things, you still need to be around, but maybe not all the time. Kathy is asking, should I go visit my friend Mark in Arizona when he comes in town next weekend? I haven't heard from him in months. And I know he's busy. Yeah, starting a business is really busy, but that shouldn't deter him from not communicating with you or not talking to you or anything else. So make sure that he is making you a little bit of a priority while he's there. Otherwise, it's like you're kind of putting yourself on a shelf for a period of time and not really connecting with other people. But I will say, if he is in town and he's putting time aside for you, that'd be a great thing. If he's not, and he's like, oh, I might get the chance to go have dinner with you, or I might be able to do this, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't put yourself on the shelf for that long a period of time. That's not a good way to do it for you, in any way, shape, or form. It's kind of like, it's not worth it. One of the things I also get with all of this energy is, now, there's a couple of stones I will say. Black tourmaline is going to help keep your energy high, and it's going to also keep negative energy away from you. Anything like negative energy that you're very welcome, Kathy, that you've been thinking about and you're not moving forward, there might be some negative energy in there. So having black tourmaline around you is a really good one. The other one is smoky quartz, or citrine is a really good one for business people, or things that are people that are trying to open up into new beginnings again. So this is not it, but it looks very much similar to this. But it's one of those, like, that's kind of one of those things keep in mind. Citrine is a great one to kind of bring in new ideas, new beginnings, new thoughts. It can be a little bit expensive, but not terribly expensive. I will say one like this is probably $75 to $100. That's not what I'm wearing today. Um, So just know that that's part of the energy coming in around you. So any other questions that you have about our 11/20/11/22 energy? One of the things that we haven't talked about is if we would write out this date completely, we write out November, which is an 11, the date 22 is the day, and then the year is 2024, which is an 8 year. So this is kind of like one of those amazing energies. And that's kind of like, an amazing energy. 8 energy is all about the infinite possibilities, or what am I going to be bringing in next, or how am I going to be making those changes. And this can be a really amazing one for us, of opening up to new opportunities, new things that are coming in and around us. So it's kind of like the 8 energy is coming in, a big time. So kind of like infinite possibilities. Don't just be like, I need to narrow this down and narrow the search. Right now may be the time to kind of like be thinking big or globally, and then refine it down eventually. Especially since next year, 2025, is going to be a 9 year, and that's going to have a completely different energy and a different momentum from start to finish. The year has something to do with each day's energy of the whole year. I know that sounds crazy weird, but it really, really works that way. It's going to bring us, 2024 is bringing us infinite possibilities or choices. Like, do I want to choose this? Do I want to choose this? Do I want to go here? Do I want to go there? So know that that is all coming in and around our energy. What do we want to bring in? How do we want to bring in things? So I'm just going to do a couple of cards just for November 2022 for tomorrow's energy. So the first card I'm pulling for tomorrow is all about strength. Having the strength to make new choices is really a big one. Most people think like, oh, it's no big deal. It is a big deal. Making new choices for yourself, or just even thinking that your life could be different than what it is right now, is a big deal. So that in itself is a big deal. The next card for us is expansions. We're hopefully expanding what we want to do or create in this world. I think a lot of times when we're kids, we think like, we could do anything. We could be a space cowboy. We could do this. We could do that. And a lot of times life teaches us to think small. And it's not like at the beginning, make sure it's like wide open. What do I want to do? What are the possibilities of what do I want to do in this energy? How do I want to deal with this? The next card is, I'm pulling them all upside down today. The authority. I think this is kind of one of my favorite cards. The authority is kind of like, when you really think about it, your creator created you in that image, and you have his energy in you, however you want to say it, his, her, whatever it is. But it's one of those, that energy is within you. And so you need to really think that you have the authority to call this into you. You have the right to be successful. You have a right to be a business owner. You have the right to change your life. You have the right to have an amazing life. When you start thinking that you can't, it brings in kind of a crazy energy for you. Manifesting energy is something that is very amazing, but it doesn't take a lot of time to do it. It takes little bits of time throughout your whole day to do it. It's not like, oh my gosh, I need to go do this meditation the next 4 hours or whatever else. No, not necessary. Totally not necessary. Let me pull one more card for us. This is about Scorpio, and this is all about investigates. And this is all about like investigating what you want to bring into your life, and how is that going to change or modify or do something different in your life. So like I said, so many times people think of the same thing over and over and over again. Well, I can't do that because my parents didn't do that. I can't do that because none of my brothers and sisters did that. Forget all of that. Investigate it. Like, what is it for you? What would it be like for you to have this? What would be the opportunities that would open this up? And also think of like, what would I make or bring in or change or modify in your world, in your life? What would this change? So that's a really amazing, like, oh, never thought of it that way. Never thought, this is interesting. Never thought of it that way. That's a great way to think of, hey, Jace, how are you doing? That's one of the special energies that our 11/22 energy comes in with tomorrow, is making changes, making updates, changing what's going on in and around you. That is the amazing energy for us. So it's kind of like, that is an amazing time frame, or amazing energy. So it's like, bring this into you, bring this unique, amazing, manifesting money, manifesting your favorite life, your dream life, a life that you never thought you could have. I guarantee you, the life I live today, I could not have dreamt when I was a kid that it would be this great. Literally, I know, and people are like, really? And I'm like, I know, it's the craziest thing. I could not have dreamt that my life would be this great. I know, totally weird. But I love my life. I love my husband, my kids, my grandson, my dog. I love all of what's going on in and around my life. And that's one of the things that I think is very, very special, not only for myself, but for other people as well. It's a great life, but you have to create it. You have to bring the energy in, knowing that I can have a relationship that's balanced. Jan is asking one last question. Do you know if the court case will go well? I kind of get that it won't, and I feel like there's secrets or there's things that aren't brought out all completely with the court case. There's something hidden or some type of back agenda behind the scenes. Like, I know that sounds interesting, but there's some back agendas or there's some stuff going on behind the scenes that you may not be aware of. I know. That's what I get, Jan 64. Jan 64. That's kind of one of those interesting ones. Okay. Any last minute questions? Anything else? Is Landry married or in a relationship? In a relationship. Boom. Okay. Michelle is asking for a card for her. So let me pull one for Michelle. Michelle, I am pulling the card symbiosis. And this means that you need to connect with other people that have the same dream that you have or the same ideas. You need to find like-minded people. My nose is itchy. Like-minded people to come in and make some changes with you. And so finding that group together, whatever that group is, if it's a group of people that go and meditate or go do yoga or that have the same interest, rock climbing, whatever it is, like you need to find other people that have that same energy with you, that kind of like that same outlook on life, people that that are ready to come in and make some changes with their lives. Because if you get around the people that aren't ready to change, it's going to hold you in that place. And that's not where you want to be. You want to be in a group that's going to be changing or modifying and changing. Sissy's asking, will I be moving to Ocean Springs soon? It depends on your idea of soon or how does it come in. That's kind of like, I think like 4 to 6 months. The window opens up for you, but it stays open for about 2.5 years. So it stays open for quite a while. Let's see. Agnes on Facebook. No, YouTube. On YouTube. Is my disability going to be extended? No, it's not. I don't think it's going to be extended. I know. It's kind of one of those. I think it should be, but it's not going to be. And there's something written wrong or there's something in there that's not written correctly. So it's not going to turn out the way you want it. I do, Michelle's asking, I do also do private sessions with people one-on-one. I do them over the internet, over WebEx. I do them over the phone or face-to-face in my home office, depending on where you live. Some people live close to me and some people don't live close to me. That just depends on the best way to do it is to go to my website or connect with me in some way, shape, or form. My website is my name, Ruth Theresa, RUTHTHERESA. Michelle is saying, yes, she's in Sugarland. Yes, I'm in Sugarland. I don't have any other appointments. I don't think I'll open on Saturday. I do have several of them open next week. Wednesday afternoon, maybe. About the only thing that I have open as of right now is last time I looked. Monday and Tuesday are almost booked solid. A lot of people are coming into town. That usually kind of happens. But one of the fun things is I have been booking some group readings between now and all the way through like Thanksgiving, Christmas, into New Year and stuff like that. It depends on where y'all live. Sometimes I drive to y'all. Sometimes y'all drive to me. It just depends on where you are in the world. And sometimes we've even done them online. So people connect in from different locations and we do a group reading online. So that's kind of the cool, interesting part. kind of thing. So it just depends on face to face, over the phone, um, or over the internet through WebEx. And it just really depends on what you want to do, how you want to do it. I will be doing a New Year, New You group reading in January. That's kind of always like my big favorite one that I love doing. I do an angel card reading for each month of the year. And then I also do an angel card, an angel message for each of the people that are in the room. And then I open up the floor after that's all finished, usually about 2 hours or 2.5 hours, or 3 hours altogether. But it's one of those like I answer as many questions as I can about people's new year, what's coming in, and then you will also really, really, really be seeing a lot of videos out. I always do. Right now, on TikTok, I probably like launch one every other day. On YouTube, I'm launched between 2 and 5 a day. And then on Instagram and Facebook, probably one every other day. So it just depends on what's going on, what alignments are on there. I do angel card readings for the week. Those are always interesting. And then on special days like Thanksgiving Day, because Thanksgiving Day could be a little crazy. Thanksgiving Day is actually going to be a little crazy because we're going to have Mercury going into retrograde that week. So Monday, Mercury goes into full retrograde and is in there until like December 15th. So that's going to be affecting people in some interesting ways. Mercury in retrograde gets, I think, a bad rap, but it's really important to know when it's in retrograde, when it's not in retrograde, and how to connect into it. The more you know about Mercury in retrograde, the easier it gets, the easier, lighter kind of energy it moves into. But make sure you take full advantage of November 22nd because it's going to have an amazing energy, and you've got to start building your foundations or building your architecture for your first foundations of your new life. I thank y'all so much for joining me tonight, and I know that we'll be talking again soon. Y'all have a great one. Happy Thanksgiving. See y'all next time.